Bonjour, je suis aujourd'hui avec Kevin Dust, qui est mon ami, qui est la personne qui m'a permis de découvrir la culture Crow, une culture que j'affectionne particulièrement et que je partage avec lui dans le sens où nous partons dans les écoles, dans les médiathèques, avec mon association qui s'appelle Azagaya, Association pour le senti amérindien et pour Gaïa, où nous parlons de sa culture, de sa tribu, où nous faisons voler en éclats tous les clichés concernant les Indiens. Il m'a fait la confiance énorme de me demander d'écrire son livre, Le Fils de l'oiseau tonnerre, où je parle de sa vie dans la réserve, de son enfance jusqu'à son arrivée en France, il y a 25 ans maintenant. J'ai écrit un second bouquin sur notre histoire à tous les deux, comment on s'est rencontrés, qui s'appelle Lui, le porteur de cercle, où je parle encore de sa vie, mais aujourd'hui autrement. Et donc ensemble, nous allons essayer de parler des différences qu'il peut y avoir entre les diverses cultures, Lakota, Sioux, Crow. Qu'est-ce qui fait l'unicité de Kevin, sa force, ses traditions, sa culture. Bonjour Kevin.
Bonjour.
Donc Kevin est aujourd'hui avec nous pour nous parler de sa tribu, de sa réserve et de nous expliquer un peu qui il est, comment sa vie était lorsqu'il était dans la réserve. Donc bonjour Kevin à nouveau. Qui es-tu?
I am basically a child of God. I come from the Crow people. We call ourselves Apsalake, from USA, Montana, on the Crow Indian Reservation on the foothills of the Little Bighorn Mountains. And I've been living here for a while now, but and originally that's where I come from, the native land.
Where is your native land?
I just said it, Montana.
Where is Montana? Because
in USA.
Okay, but in USA where? And near Sioux?
We are southeast of Montana. We are north of Yellowstone, and we are west of America, that's for sure. The Crow Indian Reservation is based on the historic place of the Battle of Little Bighorn. So we come from the territory of the Little Bighorns.
Quels sont les rituels, les cérémonies qui ont encore lieu ou qui avaient lieu auparavant dans ta tribu qui sont importantes pour la culture Crow?
Yes, it's always important to keep stay on the road of our tradition and culture. Yes, my people still practice ritual rites, not as much as it used to be, as it's not needed today. Today we still, like myself, I've gone fasting to the mountains alone. We have sun dances, we have sweat lodges, we have peyote ceremonies, and most sacred for the Crow people is the opening of the medicine bundle, which is done once a year in the spring. And yeah, so it's necessary for us to keep our traditions.
Tu peux nous expliquer ce que c'est par exemple une sweat lodge ou une quête de vision ou l'ouverture de la pipe sacrée?
Well, for the sweat lodge, we go inside a sedation and we sweat, but all the time we're in the hut, we are praying to God, to the Great Spirit, and we believe that it cleans our body and it cleans our soul. And also it is necessary. It was an old style of self-reliance for the Native American, especially the Crow, whereas my dad used to say, if you want to find yourself, you go and find the highest mountain and you fast for 4 days and 3 nights and only tobacco, no food, no water. And with this, your mind goes clean and the road for your future is a lot more clear. So we also do this fasting. And of course, the ceremonies are essential, as we do 2, 3, or 4 sun dances a year. And, you know, it is good to connect with the Great Spirit.
D'où vient la tradition de la Sundance?
Yes, it is not practiced so much today. The basics of a Sundance was a long time ago, about 100 years ago, or a little bit more, that we used these Sundances in a form of revenge on an enemy, to the enemy territory. Today, the Sundances have been used to change the mentality of your luck. If you have a lot of bad luck, if you don't feel healthy, you know, if you feel a member of your family that's not healthy, someone maybe your good friend, or your partner, and if they're not healthy, well, we enter the Sundance and we want to change the luck. Today, these Sundances, this is what these Sundances are used for today, to change the mentality and to live more healthier and freer. And so that is why we have done our Sundances today.
Ok, tu as parlé de la cérémonie peyote.
Yes.
C'est quoi la cérémonie? En quoi elle consiste? Est-ce que c'est autorisé encore?
Yes, because on the Constitution of America, he says freedom of religion. We qualify because we're Americans. For the peyote ceremony, in fact, it was not really a Crow tradition, but this tradition had come from the South and has been now gone through all the native tribes. And we use it as a very good form and way to communicate with the Great Spirit. Is you're taking a peyote and all night long you're singing and praying. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. As you only go to a church for one day, sometimes people don't even go unless there's an Easter or Christmas, a certain time. And of course, here all over in Europe, you got a lot of churches, and I see a lot of people not really practicing them today. But it was important for us to keep that practice, and so we still have it today.
Okay. Tu dis que aussi vous allez à l'église. Pourtant, l'église, la culture judéo-chrétienne, n'est pas dans votre tradition du départ. Pourquoi vous allez à l'église aujourd'hui?
Well, I noticed that there is a lot of churches, especially in Europe and in America. But with religion, a man has the right to kill another man because he doesn't believe in his religion. So a lot of people are killing each other with religion, right? My basic form is to speak to the Great Spirit. Is what we've been doing all this time, and we never call it a religion. It is the language of the Europeans that said religion, and bringing of their church and their Bibles that said this is the religion you have to believe in. Now, I'm a Native American, and as everybody else, you are European, and we are forced to do that, which I do not believe. But to speak to God is something that the natives have done forever. And we have, today we have symbols of the medicine wheel that covers that aspect. So it's not necessarily a church that we have to go to. I was in Notre Dame in Paris. There was a man sleeping inside the church. I wonder if he was going to make it to heaven in this church, sleeping. I don't find that right myself. But that's how we use the practice, yes.
Tu parles de la roue médecine. La roue médecine, c'est quelque chose qu'on trouve au sein de ta réserve, un endroit sacré, où se sont rendus plein de tribus, des hommes médecines de ta tribu, pour monter des énergies, pour prier, pour avoir des rituels sacrés. Aujourd'hui, en France, on n'entend que ça. Venez avec nous faire une roue médecine, venez avec nous faire une sweat lodge. Pourquoi il n'y aura jamais en Europe une roue médecine Crow ou une sweat lodge Crow?
Well, the Europeans have a different belief than Native Americans. It is not necessary over here. Today, some people do it, but I believe that they have no rights to do it unless a real Native American was there to perform these things. Now, a medicine wheel was formed like a wheel and everybody comes to the center, and in the center is God. And this form was standing there for a long time. Now there's a medicine wheel right next to my reserve. It's one of the most popular ones, in fact. And it's not only used by my people. Many Native Americans come around from all over reservations and other tribes and would sacrifice themselves there with a little time of fasting, like you said, to recollect their energy, to recharge their energy. And they leave fine objects there to prove to themselves that I've made a commitment here at the medicine wheel. So the medicine wheel is very important for us. Today things have changed. We've been often converted into that to many churches, styles of churches today, Catholic, Pentecostal, you name it. There's baptism, there's all kinds of stuff with that. So, but yes, it still exists and it's still usable today. It is very important for us.
But you don't want Sweat Lodge to be here in France. No.
There's things that Native Americans do that is not respected by others, and they don't quite know how to do it. I've seen it. Now, when you do a sweat lodge, a man and a woman together is not right. I will speak for my tribe now, and that's how we do it. Because people who don't know how to do it, they will do anything in any which way they want and believe that that is right. It is not their culture, it is not their tradition, and they should at least have a real Native American there to observe and to lead a ceremony like this. Because now you find people who want to find spirituality, who have gone back and don't have their own, and are using the Native Americans, which is the ultimate thing about this is the respect that you should show and have for this. That's what my understanding is.
Okay. Aujourd'hui, ta culture, est-ce que c'est la même chose que quand tu étais enfant? Est-ce que vous vivez encore dans des tipis? Est-ce que vous allez chasser pour manger? Est-ce que toute l'illusion, tous les clichés qui sont arrivés par Hollywood et par les westerns, etc., est-ce que ça a déjà existé? Est-ce que ça existe encore?
Yes. Fortunately for us, it is still existing. At times we use a teepee, but we use them for a certain fair, certain ceremonies, and in summer when it's not so cold, why not breathe the fresh air and have a teepee and you can stay in there. But today, we are like everybody else who are in houses. That's for sure. Now, hunting is here in every country, in every parts. Hunting is only reserved for the autumn or the fall. Whereas on my reservation, my ancestors have asked when they make the treaties that we can hunt inside the boundaries of our own reservation anytime we want. And the reason for that is that some people like us, we're still hunting and still like the meat, the deer meat, elk meat, and we have some buffalo. We still hunt buffalo. And hunting is for us it's in our blood, so we like it. It's a way of life for us. And when we go hunting, we don't sneak up on them with a bow and arrow. I call it unnecessary that anymore. 100 and 150 years ago, yes. Today, I'd rather take a rifle with a scope, one tear, one pull, and the animal's down. Now that is the best way to do it. And today we have pickup trucks, right? And we load up the animals in our pickup truck and we take it to our camp, and then we take the meat and the skin and everything off like that. Today's techniques on hunting is a heck of a lot better than it was 150 years ago. And yes, we still hunt, not with the same techniques and not with the same arms. And on my reservation, we can hunt anytime we want because some native people, we still depend on fresh venison.
Pour célébrer la culture traditionnelle ancienne, il y a une cérémonie, une fête qui se passe au mois d'août dans ta réserve, qui s'appelle la Crofer. Tu peux nous expliquer d'où ça vient, pourquoi il y a eu cette fête d'où elle vient, depuis combien de temps, puisque ça fait plus de 100 ans maintenant. Et qu'est-ce qui se passe? Pourquoi c'est pour vous la plus belle fête du monde?
It is not only Crow Fair for the Crow. Now, every tribe has his certain fair, and you can go from tribe to tribe. Every certain month, every certain date of the month, and you can go like a rodeo circuit. You can hit all of them and hit a powwow, and some people do that to win a little money. Now, a powwow for us is very important because it's a gathering of Native Americans, and in my tribe we have a few powwows in the year, even one in the winter. Now, but Crow Fair is the biggest one we have. I mean, most tribes in America know Crow Fair because it's called Teepee Capital of the World. That's Crow Fair. And what's important with that is now at Crow Fair, because it's Crow, my people can show their tradition, their horse riding skills. We see all the teepees. We have over 1,000 teepees. Everybody riding horses, and we have the parades, and everybody can show their regalia with crow beadwork, specifying that it's Crow, not just the Native American. And at this is a good time for elders to make ceremonies, to talk about old times, inviting each other and having a great meal. It's all about getting together and having a really good time and keeping our tradition at the most alive that it is.
Les Crows, c'est une toute petite tribu. Il y a 15 000 personnes à peu près. Pour expliquer pourquoi vous êtes si peu, on peut parler peut-être du génocide qui a eu lieu et comment vous avez réussi à garder vos terres et comment vous faites aujourd'hui des adoptions pour pouvoir rester suffisamment nombreux pour ne pas vous éteindre. Tu peux parler de ça?
You know, in America was never a discovery. It is the honest truth. An Italian man named Christopher Columbus had lost his way to the West Indies and ended up in America, which is why, very clichéable, you call us Indians. I am not an Indian. I'm not even Native American. That is the name given to us because of the land that we habit, that we live on. I myself am Apsaloka, children of the Thunderbird. That is what I am. There's over 520 tribes scattered across America and Canada. What's really important about this is the fact that we've been nearly genocided ever since Christopher Columbus landed from the east, traveling all the way to the west, taking all the native land, minerals, mountains, rivers, and basically wiping out the northern buffalo herd, the bison of America. Now, this is not a very nice thing that would happen, but I guess we have to live with that today. And and that's why it's very important to keep our traditions, our language, our way of life. And there's no cliche about it. I still speak my language, so I speak it this way. That's the best way to do it. Because when the English came, they forced us to speak English. And unfortunately for the French, who backed off into their land, if not, we would have been speaking French. And that would be the other thing. Many tribes have their names given to them by the Europeans, of course. Now, my tribe, for example, is called Crow. We call ourselves Apsalke, but today they call us Crow. Now, this is very true. It is in our history. It was an error of the French. The first white men that met my people, and my people to see the first white men were French. Now, we don't speak French, they don't speak English, or they don't speak Crow, so we use the international language of using the hand. They said, "You, who are you?" And we explained with our hands that we said, "We are the children of the large-beaked bird." And the French had dubbed us Crow because of that. And today we are stamped Crow. Could you imagine? But the real form of it, it's called, it was a very large bird with a large beak. That is apsaloka, that's what it means. But in basic terms, it's called the thunderbird. And that is where my people come from. Now, the crow was an error from the French. It's something that I need to explain, that's very important. That's history.
Donc justement, tu parles de ta langue, de ton langage. Est-ce que la langue est toujours parlée correctement dans ta tribu, ou est-ce que ça se perd et que tu es finalement un des rares à la parler couramment, ou il y a maintenant des jeunes qui l'apprennent à l'école, par exemple?
Yes, unfortunately, for all tribes, I will say, the language of their tribe is being lost. Due to the fact that we had to learn to rather speak English or something else. We were forced to do that. That is still a part of genocide. And however, some certain states in America, in Montana, they have passed a law that says that in a public school, that one class must be taught a bilingual language of their tribe. So this was fortunate for us. It's just in the past 15 years that this has come around. And today, our children have taken these classes to speak Crow. But there's a slight difference, because I speak Crow fluent. And today's children who are taught to speak Crow have a slight accent, and I can understand. Yes, but we try to keep it alive. It is a dying form today. I believe in 100 years we might not be speaking it anymore. I don't know. But it's very important that we keep our language. In fact, my language is my identity. If you can allow me to say a little bit, Balashe bahele kone tehuk, biapsalugik. Aja kola hilete maidek, hilete maliwak, hilete nini mashchilo waish chawotchik. Iwak, iwai digit iwai kyala. And I just said my name. In the crow name, my name is hard at his work. I am Apsaloke, I am Crow. And it is very important that we keep and speak our language, because it's in fact our identity. It is what I said in my language.
Okay. Comment on dit bonjour?
Shodaj.
Et comment on dit au revoir?
Kiwagawik.
Donc, est-ce que tu peux, par exemple, dire aux gens qui te regardent là, pendant la vidéo, une phrase qui pourrait apprendre, retenir une toute petite phrase, qui pourrait éventuellement apprendre, parce que les gens aiment bien avoir une petite phrase du style « Bonjour, comment allez-vous » ou quelque chose comme ça.
Shogalala means, where did you come from? Would be one of the basic things that we say. It's not like you don't know somebody, you ain't going to say Shodaj, because they're not going to understand. But you say something that they're going to go, what does that mean? Hey, then you got to start explaining to them. So yes, it is basic to start with the basic language, basic words anyways, like hello, goodbye, how are you? It's good, it's bad, you know, these basic. So, and my children have understood all of these basic little words. However, my children don't speak Crow no more. But I am still trying to get them to understand it. I guess it's better to listen and understand it than it is trying to talk it. So, yes, it's a bit tough today, but I am fortunate myself that I grew up speaking Apsaloka.
Parler Apsaloka, c'est juste oral. Il y avait, enfin jusqu'à peu de temps, je crois, pas d'écriture Crow. Il y a des personnes qui ont fait des dictionnaires. Et moi, là où je me suis amusée, c'est que le mot le plus long que j'ai lu, c'est le mot Noël, qui nous fait 4 lettres en français et qui fait 26 lettres en Crow. Tu peux dire Noël en Crow?
Oui. It's kind of different how we say it. Some certain languages in English or even in French have a very short way of saying it. As the Crow, we mean what it is, because we don't have words in our language. We have image. For example, just an example, a car, 3 letters, 1 word, car, voiture in French. But the Crows, we say ilala. It means it's something that moves by itself. Quelque chose qui bouge seul. And that's how we say it. Don't even ask me how we say a telephone, because a telephone, the shape of a telephone, it's yes, it's the image that we have. For example, newspaper, a book. You say bawalaja, it's the papier. But if you're talking about the journal, the news, you say bawalargeje, it's the journal that moves. It's a television or cinema. So again, my language, it doesn't have letters because our language have the images.
Donc il n'y a pas de lettres, il n'y a pas de mots écrits, et pourtant, pour communiquer, il a fallu créer un dictionnaire.
Non.
Donc comment, quand moi je veux apprendre par exemple ta langue, comment je fais?
Bah, you have to go to the reservation and listen. You want to speak, but it's more inquisitive to hear first than to speak. That's what I always say about the white people, especially coming from Europe. Hey, but I'll tell you one thing though, about our language. In the World War I, in the World War II, our language had helped liberate Europe from Nazi invasion with our language, because you don't understand what we're saying, they don't understand what we're saying. Other tribes, most of them don't know what the Crow is saying. And we use the Crow language in a code. It is impossible to break. And we helped liberate Europe with this language. We had two brothers who flew over to Marseille with an airplane. One was a spotter and the second one had the right to pull. It was not them who were driving the plane. They were just there translating or talking in our language, and we had a translator in code. So, in doing so, I was proud to say that our language had helped liberate Europe.
Est-ce que tu aurais un message à passer à l'homme d'aujourd'hui, un message de paix ou de protection de la terre, ou un message, tout simplement un message qui s'adresserait à l'homme?
Yes. This is the most important thing. We all, Europeans, natives, Africans, Asians, we all live in this world. And there's only one world, and it's not very big. We all must take care of it. As people are drawing too much oil from the ground, gold, silver, everything from the ground, they are starting to form other things such as plastic and unnecessary things that we don't need in the earth, and then they are littering. So when you litter that, it is hurting the ground, it is hurting the water supply. And you have big factories today that are puffing up smoke all over in our air. Now, a lot of people have had this idea about the Native Americans because we come from nature, we are with nature, and we know the balance of nature. And some people who don't do that, today the world is a bit contaminated. Now I am not wrong. If not, you can ask European scientists about what I just said. So the most important messages for me is, let's keep the world clean. It is not only my world, but it's yours too. So let's keep it clean and see how long it can last. Let's find renewable source of energy other than using coal, oil. Why forming plastic? We can make things that are biodegradable. Most important of all, human beings, your body has at least 3/4 worth of water in your body. Now today the water is very contaminated itself. So these things, these elements are important to us. And one day your air is not clean, then you have nobody to blame. So the most important message that passes to me is, please take care of Mother Nature. We only got one earth together.